Hey guys, welcome to the Cash Flow Talk. Shit happens, episode number 2. How are you guys? I hope you're having an amazing day. Today I want to share my first deal, my experience with my very first deal. It was a love and hate relationship. It was a great deal, but I lost some money. That's why it's on my second episode of The Shit Happens. Stay tuned for this. Hey guys, welcome again to the Shit Happens episode series, episode number 2. So let's get to it, guys. I want to share how I did my very first wholesale deal slash real estate transaction. Why not? It would be perfect for my second episode of the Shit Happens because it was a nightmare, guys. I want to share the experience, what happened, what I learned from it, and so stay tuned, guys. The situation was the following. I had been for about a year or two reading audiobooks, going to seminars, and getting into the mindset of I want to be a real estate investor. We signed up, me, my wife, and a good friend of mine. We signed up for a course from James Smith that we went to a big audience, and he was selling his course for like $800 or $900. We ended up paying like $2,000 for one-on-one coaching with one of his coaches. It wasn't him. And it was a weekly or bi-weekly call for about 6 months. I remember it was every Tuesday at nights. And we would hear him, we would talk to him, and we would ask him questions. And they were basic information about real estate, about how to wholesale, how to buy at a proper price, how to get a deal at the right discounted price, and how to do the math on every transaction. And the first thing he was telling us was get your real estate license, which I'm going to go back to at the end of this video because that's the biggest lesson about this. So long story short, he was telling us, guys, you make money in real estate by making offers. You make money in real estate by driving by neighborhoods and calling sellers and landlords that had for sale by owner signs. This was back in 2008, 2009. And I guess it was a Saturday. I wasn't working. I had a full-time job. I wasn't working. And I was driving by Hollywood, Florida, South Florida, Southeast Florida. And I saw for rent sign, and the grass was like about the height of my knees. And there was a for rent sign in there. And I called the lady. She picked up the phone. I said the basic questions. I had a chart with all the questions that I had to ask. And the first things I started asking, like, are you renting this house? I noticed that you're renting this house. Have you considered selling? Why are you selling? I wanted to build some rapport, but again, I was 19, 20 years old. Like, I didn't have any credibility yet, and I didn't know what I was doing in the business. But I started asking her question. Long story short, she said, hey, I'm at the house. Are you nearby? I said, yes, I'm outside. You want to come in and take a look at it? Sure, no problem. Of course, I didn't know what to say. As soon as I got into the property, I saw that it was beautiful. It was a nice house. But now that I remember that house, it was a nightmare. The garage was converted to 2 bedrooms and 1 bath. They had an addition in the back. The Florida room was an add-on. And it has the property was probably a 3-1 and it was converted to like a 5-2. It was a crazy house, and it had a ton of violations. And I remember the asking price, he was asking like $80,000 for the property. He needed about, I don't know, $30,000, $40,000 into it. But I had no idea what I was getting into. I had no money, I had no experience, I had no nothing. I just thought, hey, if I make an offer, maybe she'll accept it and then we'll see what happens. Sure, no problem. So long story short, I started talking to this lady. I went inside, she gave me some orange juice or soda, I can't remember. And we started talking. It was like a 60 to 70-year-old lady, and she was from Germany. She had cancer and she needed to move back to Germany. Again, this was about 2009. So I said, hey, no problem. I mean, it sucks for your situation, your health situation. I wish I could help, but the way I could help is maybe I can put the property under contract and buy it from you. We started negotiating. I thought the number we needed to be at was about $65,000. And she said, okay, if you pay me $65,000 cash for it, I'll give it to you. I'll take out the reference sign. Guys, I went home. I typed a regular contract. I sent it to her. I already knew more or less how the contract had to look like, but I said, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to put in there 5-day inspection period because we would learn that from the course. And that's it. I went to her house. I signed the contract. I think it was like $500 deposit, and I didn't have any money to put the deposit. So what I said, hey, I'm gonna use these 5 days to sell the house. And I only had like 5, 6 buyers at the moment that I had told that I'm getting into the real estate business. And I called this realtor who's a Colombian, and from my country, obviously. And he said, hey, I'll buy it from you. I'll buy it for $72,000. And I said, oh, whoa, okay. So I got it for 68, I think it was. He's gonna buy it for 72. I'm gonna make 5. It's a great deal. Here's the biggest lesson. Like, I want to take a greedy, so I asked him, hey, would you pay me $2,000 in addition on the side? So instead of making 72, can you pay me 74? I was greedy at the moment. I didn't know what I was doing. I said, hey, I got a deal. I did the hard part, which is finding the deal. Let me try to sell it. These guys are all in it. So he said, yes, no problem. I'll pay you the $2,000 on the side. And when we brought up the contract, he said, no, I'm not going to pay you the $2,000 on the side. So I called the seller. And I said, hey, Miss Seller, what if you pay me $2 additional $1,000 on the side, because I'm wholesaling this deal, and never say that to a seller, by the way, but I'm wholesaling this deal. Would you pay me the $2,000 on the side? Yeah, no problem. You're going to close on it. I'm moving back to Germany, this and that. I will pay you, no big deal, this and that. Because what I wanted to do is I wanted to put the contract directly from the seller to my buyer, get out of the middle, don't have to do a double closing or an assignment or anything like that, because I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't have any title companies at the moment. All I knew was a wholesaler that knew how to do this. And this lady and my couple buyers, this was one of the buyers that was interested in it. We pulled title, everything was had violations, but I told the buyer, listen, that's the price, with all faults, with all violations. He said, okay, no problem. Long story short, I was gonna make $3,000 on the contract and $2,000 outside of the contract. And the situation ended up happening was that we closed on the deal, we closed on the transaction. I went to the closing table. There was the buyer, the seller, the title company, the attorneys, the buyer's wife, and their business partner. I mean, the closing table had like 10 people. It was a crazy deal. It took like 20 days to close. It was everybody bought with all the liens and violations, and it was an all cash transaction. So I said, okay, I'm not going to talk about the $2,000 because I mean I don't have it in writing, but I can trust the seller and I can trust the buyer. You know, I'm going to get paid the $3,000 on the closing and the $2,000 on the side. Fine, no problem. We close, the lady gets her money, and I said, okay, no problem. I'll talk to you as soon as we're done here. Let me finish here for 30 minutes, and I'll talk to you. And I had her home address, because I had gone to her house to sign the contract. So I went to her house. She had moved already. I called her, and she said, yeah, no problem. Come to my house and pick up the property. It was her boyfriend's house or something like that. I went to her boyfriend's house, and little did I know, she didn't open the door. So I called her again, she wouldn't open the door. I called her again, she wouldn't open the door. So I knocked on the door, and there comes about this 300-pound guy. He was about 6'4". He was huge, and he was her husband or boyfriend. I can't remember. But he was also an attorney. And he's like, "Are you licensed? Do you have a realtor's license?" I said, "No, I don't have a realtor's license." "Okay, so get the fuck out of here." Whoa, what the fuck? I mean, I know you're bigger, I know you're stronger, but what the hell? I just did a deal. Can I talk to this lady? And she's like, "No, she's not available." "Is she here?" "Yeah, she's here, but she's not available." So I started screaming through him so the entire house can hear me. I started asking her for her name, and she would come out, and she said, "Deal with him. If you don't have a license, I'm not paying you." Long story short, guys, I didn't get paid the additional $2,000 because I didn't have a real estate license, and I didn't have it in writing. That was my very first lesson. And again, this is my first lesson for the Shit Happens episode. Since then, I don't put anything under contract unless it's in writing. I actually sometimes get obsessed with making it in writing. No matter how much I trust my buyer, I still try to put it in writing, at least a text message. If it's something not has to do with a contract, but for example, if they say, "Hey, I'm closing on the 28th," I try to put it in writing, and whatever happens, hey, so I don't say, "Hey, you told me these or you told me that." At least I have proof that it's in writing. So guys, that's my lesson. put things in writing and get your license if you're going to get commissions or you're going to wholesale deals. After that, I started investigating how to get my license, and then from then on, I started doing more deals. I got my license, and here I am today. So guys, I wanted to share with you guys, this is the first episode, the second episode of my Shit Happens video series. If you like what you hear, comment below, subscribe below, give me a thumbs up, and let me know your thoughts. Guys, I'll see you next Friday on my next Shit Happens episode on my Cashflow Talk YouTube channel. I'll see you guys next time, and take care. Bye-bye.